That is the reason why a lot of these teams are moving. I see so much movement amongst the group of five, so much movement amongst FBS to FBS, and you're like, is there really that much money to go around? The answer is yeah. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, pro football, Madden, EA college football, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Won't cost you anything. All it's going to cost you is being up to date on all those things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that. I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, I have been studying some things here. And again, my boys, Boise State, they're in the Frisco Bowl this Saturday against North Texas. I'm going to be going snowboarding in the morning, watching the football at night. It's going to be a great day. However, there was certain happenings that happened that it just didn't make a lot of sense. However, this loosely connects to the CFP expansion, where college football is headed, where, kind of sports and college sports is headed in general, because football rules the roost. And you can see that because there's a lot of moves that are happening that seem disconnected, but they're more connected than you think. Let's get into that. So boom, here we see earlier yesterday for you guys, again, today for me, North Texas names Washington State offensive coordinator Eric Morris as new coach. So I was like, Eric Morris. So North Texas, they just got a new head coach. First of all, they got an offensive coordinator as their head coach, which, again, Seth Luttrell, he was their head coach. They had a top 20 offense. I don't understand why they're doing this. Well, it has a couple different reasonings here, but I mean, thinking about this, they just hired a head coach. They just fired their previous one, and they were just in the conference championship. They were one game away from winning the league. And think about that, one game away from winning the league, come in, fire their head coach. Absolutely shocking. You see that Seth Luttrell, he comes over here, does his best with the team, goes 6-2 in conference, almost goes 7-1 with beating UT San Antonio, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it. They beat Rice on their way to San Antonio and then lose this game 48-27. Think about that. This team, North Texas, they were one win away from winning the league, and they fired their head coach. Now, this move makes a little bit more sense when you see what they did with their athletic director. So our former athletic director goes over to West Virginia. A lot of my boys at West Virginia, I know you're watching this video right now. Ren Baker leaves on November 30th. And then North Texas hired Associate Vice President and Chief Operating Officer Jared Mosley as the athletic director Saturday afternoon. Mosley was appointed the interim athletic director last Sunday, which was concurrent to the firing of former Mean Green football head coach Seth Luttrell. Mosley has been at UT since 2016. So again, you see this in college or in pro football a lot when, new general manager comes in, even if the coach is solid, he brings in his own head coach, something like that happens. However, I don't necessarily think that's all the reason why they got rid of Seth Luttrell. When you think about North Texas Mean Green, you come down here, you check out their history here. So, a couple of years they went to the New Orleans Bowl. They were in the Big West. They were independent for a couple of years here. You got a couple 9-2s down here with Hayden Fry. Did pretty solid. I mean, Rod Rust, 7-3 in 1969, 1953, they were independent. They really haven't had a lot of success here. A couple good years here with Daryl Dickey. He ultimately falls off. Todd Dodge comes in and does not very well. Dan McCarney comes in, has one, Heart of Dallas Bowl. He goes 0-5 in 2015. They fire him. Seth Luttrell comes in, goes 5-8, 9-5, 9-4, 4-8, 4-6, 6-7, and then 7-6, and he's fired. Now Phil Bennett is going to coach in the Frisco Bowl there. So again, you think about that, you're like, this isn't a super successful program. What's with the short leash, I would say, on Seth Luttrell? Again, you did pretty solid here. Again, they went 7-6, one win away from winning the conference here. But again, I think this has to do with conference expansion, conference realignment, CFP expansion, and things like that, because I think North Texas, I think they see the writing on the wall and need to really assert themselves, because they are, first of all, they're headed to the American. So the American lost 3 teams, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF, to the Big 12. They ultimately brought in a bunch of teams here. One of them was North Texas. North Texas is in Denton, Texas, just outside of Dallas. I actually have a lot of coworkers my company's based in Dallas, and they are all, a lot of them are North Texas grads. And they're kind of shocked here with this, because they were like, yeah, team's solid, but I just don't understand what's going on here. New AD comes in. I think the new AD sees the vision. The new AD sees the fact that we're entering into the American. We're going from, the smaller group of 5, so to say, Conference USA, to the bigger group of 5, one of the biggest group of 5s, if not the biggest, the American Athletic Conference. So they are absolutely trying to do what they can to expand and grow this team. They see the writing on the wall. They're trying to get in with it because I'm telling you right now, there is the CFP, in addition to just being in a bigger conference here, there's a lot of incentives to try and climb up. I know a lot of people are like, why are all these teams trying to climb up? This is why. One article here from KCRA.com highlights this. It says, here's how the college football playoff expansion will work. So we come in here and break it down. It talks about the 12 teams, 2024. They were haggling over a couple things here, but ultimately the Rose Bowl kind of caved on some of its requirements. But you think about this. Expanding 2 years before the end of the current contract with ESPN, it's expected to bring an estimated $450 million in additional gross revenue. That's per those 2 years, so that's $225 million per year additionally with the expansion of the CFP. It also has a couple lists here of what the current conference payouts are and everything like that. In addition to that, not only is North Texas trying to raise that, not only does North Texas see the writing on the wall. We're in Dallas. If we really build this program up, we can be big. I think they really see the emphasis behind that. Not only that, we're also seeing an entire FCS conference is trying to come up to the FBS too. You come over here and you see this article from Pete Thamel on December 9th. The Atlantic Sun and the WAC are pairing up in an attempt to move to FBS sources. So think about this. No. We're not moving one of us up to a conference like Conference USA. We're just all going to come up. That's absolutely shocking here. So when you think about this is really cool here. So the schools that have signed on to join the league are WAC football members, Stephen F. Austin, Texas, Abilene Christian, Texas, Tarleton State, Texas. UT Rio Grande will eventually have a football program. That's in Texas. And then we see Austin Peay, Eastern Kentucky, Central Arkansas, and North Alabama. So what is that? I believe that's Tennessee, Kentucky, Central Arkansas, and Alabama. So we've got a Texas pot of 4 teams. We've got kind of a Ohio River Valley pot of 4 teams. And then we've got Utah Tech and Southern Utah, a Western pot of teams. Now, I would suspect out there, 4 pot in Texas, 4 pot in the Ohio River Valley. I also suspect that there would be 2 other teams out west that would probably come up from the FCS ranks with them. But you think about that. There's 10 teams trying to come up to be a group of 5, now a group of 6 conference. Why is that? Same thing why a lot of things happen. Money. So this is super, super rough math here. Everybody get mad at me. I apologize. But again, this is my best attempt to try to break down what's going to happen here. So when we go through this here, it says right here, the 2020 payout. So that the payouts last year were $575 million combined between all of college football, $465 to the Power 5 conferences, $95 to Group of 5, $3.8 to Notre Dame, and $11.28 divided by 6 teams in the FBS independents. You add in an additional $225 million. Now, again, this is just a real rough estimate. You just take these numbers, and then you basically make them a little bit bigger, same proportions, same percentages, and everything like that. Combined would be about $800 million. Group of 5 or Power 5 would get $645 million. Group of 5 would get $132 million. Notre Dame would get $5.39, and then Independence would get $15.6. There are additional, payouts within there, but I just want to make sure we broke that down. So we talk about these notes here. 2024 projection includes an additional $225 million, and then it has Power 5 would get 66 teams would get that payout of $645 million. The Group of 5, and again, my math here, again, super rough, but I did my best to have the conference sizes plus a couple of the additions, plus a couple of moves over from FBS Independence, and the whole new conference over here. I'm doing my best to kind of have that. This assumes the new WAC and Atlantic Sun merger happening right there. That is that last 10 right there. So if you think about that, the new WAC Atlantic Sun merger will yield an additional $2.2 million per school of those 10 schools per year, assuming no other increases in revenue occur. $132 million divided by 6 conferences of the Power 6, or the Group of 6, $22 million divided by 10 schools, $2.2 million. For example, Tarleton State's current total athletic budget is around $11 million. So what I'm basically saying there is you can get a 20% raise by going from FCS to FBS just from CFP payouts. That doesn't include conference payouts. That doesn't include, we're going to get destroyed by Alabama payouts. Nothing like that. That is the reason why a lot of these teams are moving. I see so much movement amongst the Group of 5, so much movement amongst FBS to FBS, and you're like, is there really that much money to go around? The answer is yeah. And a lot of people are like, man, I just don't think how all these teams can do it. Well, this is all it is. The Football Bowl subdivision requirements to get out there. 16 sports, at least 60% of its football contests have against members of the Football Bowl subdivision. at least 15,000 fans or in paid attendance for all football games. This one's a little bit of a tongue twister here. Provide an average of at least 90% of the permissible maximum number of overall football grant in aid per year over a rolling 2-year period. And again, 85 scholarships per year, and then annually offer a minimum of 200 athletics grants in aid, or expend at least $4 million of grants in aid to student athletes in the athletic program. So that's all you really have to do. To go from FCS to FBS, you have to satisfy these things. And then if you get up to the FBS level, you could suck, be in a group of 5 conference, and get an additional couple $1 million. You don't have to be good. All you got to do is just be there. And that's the reason why everybody's trying to get to the FBS right now. Everybody's trying to get to the FBS. Everybody's trying to get up to higher conferences. Everybody's trying to improve their athletic facilities, things like that. I think a lot of people think, well, these football programs, they're mostly stagnant. I think they are stagnant at the top. For the most part, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, those programs are going to be good typically. Now, I know right now Florida's a little bit down. I know Oklahoma had a 6-6 season. They're not exactly doing great there. So there's a couple of variations there. But for the most part, I don't think anybody has a doubt that Oklahoma's going to figure it out, and so on. However, I think that in the middle, from program 11 to program 80, I think there's a lot of movement within there. And you see that with a lot of teams going from the group of 5 over to the power 5 and this and that. I know a lot of the teams that are in the 20s are like, there's no reason that those teams in the 60s could ever get to us. Tell that to UCF. About 13, 14 years ago, USF, not UCF. USF was the number 2 team in the country, and they were absolutely doing great as a program. However, they did not invest in the way that they needed to do. They did not do the things they needed to do to get to that next level. UCF, who was almost like the little brother in that instance, really, really invested. They've got a lot of things going for them. And again, huge, alumni base in Orlando, football, Crazy State, things like that on campus stadium that they eventually built. So they really invested, and they were able to surpass USF from the number 2 team in 2008, 2009, up until the point to where now USF is the little brother in that instance. So I'm telling you right now, I think that programs 11 through 80, 90, there's a lot more movement than I think the programs at 15, 16, 17 want to believe. And that's the reason why you're seeing teams going from FCS to FBS, teams going from Conference USA to the American, going from the American to the Big 12, going from the Big 12 to the SEC. You can see that everybody's trying to move up at all times. Money is driving this a lot. And I'm telling you right now, as much as it's shocking to say, money makes the world go round. It also makes college football go round too. So get in the comments right now. What do you guys think of this whole situation? There's so many things that are going on right here. There's so much money going to be exchanged hands. Is my math wrong? Probably. But anyways, get in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation right now. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I am out.